Okay, we have, as I said, so many questions and shout outs. Let me start with the shout outs. We have Carmen and John Klein, Nina Aoun, Ellie Polchuki, Kitty Martin, Carson Hunter, Jennifer Barber, Wendy Moss Shalens. Oh, sorry. Wendy Moss is in China. She says, truly, I am. I'm not a bot. I'm an American teaching music at an international high school in China. I've been an avid watcher for years now. Amazing that we're reaching people in China. Thank you, Wendy. And I'd love to see one of your concerts one day with your high schoolers. Annie Carty, happy 88th to your dad. Katie Kimball, Adam Sweetland, and 10-year-old Harrison. So good to see you all. No matter where you're watching from, I appreciate you being here. We have people watching in Dalton, Georgia, North Central Texas, Palm Coast, Florida, Guatemala, UK, England, the Glasgow, Scotland, the Glasgow, I don't know why I said that, Lincoln, New Hampshire, Nampa, Idaho, and Alberta, Canada. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get through as many of these as I can. But as I said, I have pages and pages and pages of them. One of the main questions is, have I communicated with Lori since the interview? I have not. I have not heard from her. And I don't know if because her tablet doesn't work or if she's upset with me or she's, closed the book and moved on. That's, what it is, but I don't know. Diana says, Nate, don't get on the boat. Do you realize how manic this woman is? She's a crazy narcissist and has convinced her of all of this in order to live with what she's done. That's how she is protecting the crazy, by making people think she's high and mighty. She scares me. Interesting point, Diana. I think a lot of people would agree with you there. Tess says, hi, Nate. I'm glad you finally got the interview. It must have been crazy. How has interviewing her affected you mentally? Do you feel like you finally got the chance to tell her what you think after all these years? Mentally, it's I'm glad I got to do the interview. I went on earlier today with Lawyer, which you should go to his channel. It's if and you can watch that. Very nice guy, and he talked about the difference between a journalist interviewing someone and just another person. Like, you might think, well, why should I go interview? But as a journalist, it's my job to ask questions and get answers and try to understand people. I'm not saying I need to do a deep dive to understand Lori Vallow, but I think that the 40-minute interview I did with her was shed a new light, showed us who she is. And so the thing is that she's an interesting person. Mentally, I don't know if it's like mentally scarred me or affected me. The outpouring over the past 24 hours has been interesting, of people who are very angry and people who are very supportive. And I knew that would be the case. I just didn't know if it would be to this level of people who are like really passionate about doing the interview. So I get it. I understand it. Hi, Nate. I'd love to know how you felt knowing she was coming through that door. Did she make you nervous at all? I wouldn't say she made me nervous, but the situation made me nervous. The fact that I wanted to be sure to ask the tough questions. I didn't want her to, roll over me, steamroll me and take over. And yeah, I said this last night. I believe that there were times, looking back now, I hadn't watched the whole thing again until last night when I watched it with you. Yeah, I wish I would have cut her off at some points. I wish I would have stopped her and said, that's not true. That's not true. That is a lie. That is false. I would have been doing that the whole time. And then with her too, you wonder if she's going to fight back and argue, and then you're wasting your time going back and forth. So yeah, I could have fact checked her more. But it is there. So yeah, I was nervous, but after about 10 minutes, the nerves wore off. Adrian says, why didn't you ask about Colby and her relationship now with him? That would have been great. I would have loved to. It was on my cards. I just didn't get to it. And I'll be on with Colby on his channel tonight at 9 o'clock Idaho time, Mountain Daylight. So Arizona time, that's 8 o'clock. So after this, you can jump over to his channel, and he wants to talk to me about the interview. And I would have loved to talk with him about her relationship with Colby, with her extended family now, how that is. Nate, you did a good job. I know it seems wrong to give Lori a platform, but getting her to see her in action was interesting to me. Lori seems so out of touch with what actually happened. She continues to tell a story that makes her feel better. It's all about her. No compassion or empathy for any of the victims. Correct. And those are the characteristics of a narcissist. If you look that up, and many people say she is a narcissist. She has a narcissistic personality and is, like that. So I've been watching from the time we heard the children were missing. I live in Western Montana, just over the hill. Thank you very much. How do you think Rebecca, how did you think she tried to overpower and speak to you with your questions? Excellent interview. I'm glad you interviewed her. Thank you. Well, thank you, Elizabeth or Rebecca. Did she try to overpower me? She definitely wanted to be in control, which is why a lot of people say she didn't take the stand. Lori wants to be in control. She have to answer the questions under oath and can't just go whatever way she wants. She has to stick to it. And I think she did try to overpower me. And if I would have sat there, she probably just would have preached the whole 40 minutes. Shauna, I'm glad you were able to come full circle on this case, by being, I cannot talk today. I don't know what it is. I appreciate you asked her some direct, difficult questions. You were classic Nate, respectful, professional, and direct. Well, thank you, Shauna. I appreciate that. She mentioned that she, Chad, and Tammy went to the temple together approximately 3 times. Have you been able to verify if Tammy and Lori met, and did they truly attend the temple together? Every person I have talked to has told me that Lori and Tammy never met. That is what I've told. I believe Melanie Gibbs said that when I first interviewed her, or at least after she told me that Lori said she'd never met Tammy. And I cannot, it would be unusual, I would think, if Chad tells Lori, hey, or Chad tells Tammy, hey, my friend Lori's going to come with us to the temple. It doesn't make sense. I noticed that her body language and demeanor got a little uncomfortable when you mentioned the dismemberment and burning of Tylee's body in particular. I wish you would have pressed her more on that. Yeah, I could have. I knew Keith did that. Keith Morrison did that in his interview, and she dodged and weaved. And so I figured she'd do the same with me. But while I know her medical records are private, was there any mention of Munchausen by proxy in the early reports from the social workers? I have no idea. I do know that she was diagnosed with hyperdelusionosity. Is that how you say it? Delusionosity with religious fixations, fascination with religion. I know that the rest of the medical records are sealed, though, because of HIPAA. Did Lori and Julie Rowe have any interaction? Yeah, they did. I don't know the extent of it, but they definitely knew each other. Julie was Chad's publisher, so Julie met these guys at the different conferences and conventions that they went to, and then, there was interaction, but I don't know the extent of it. Nate, did you consult with Chad? Sorry, Nate, do you think Chad will ever speak out? And is there any truth to the Reddit rumors that Chad is seeking a divorce? I have no idea about Reddit rumors. And I don't know if Chad will ever speak out. I personally don't think so, but maybe he will in like 5-10 years. Nate, did you consult with Keith Morrison before doing this interview? I actually did. I sent him a message and I said, do you have any advice? You've done this. And he wrote back and said, she's going to take you all over the place. Stick to 2 or 3 or a few key points and keep coming back to them. And so that's what I tried to do. And again, there were times where I let her go too long and I should have cut her off, or other times I should have been like, no, not true, and moved on, but I didn't. And I regret that. But, it is what it is. I could have, there are things, if I had told her, there was probably some things I would have edited out that I wouldn't have shown if it was like a traditional news package, like a traditional, voiceover, video clips, stuff like that. There was definitely things we wouldn't have shown, but that's what it is. Madison, I appreciate your coverage on the case. I know it's been a lot for you and your family. Will you read her book if and when it's released? I think I would want to, but I struggle with the idea of giving her a platform to spew more nonsense. What are your thoughts? If she sent me the book, I'd read it. I don't think I'd do a story on it. I don't think I'd bring it out unless she confessed or something. But I think that's the extent of it. I'm not, if it's just a bunch of whatever, I'm not, I'll read through it, but I don't think it's newsworthy, especially at that point, unless I said there's something new in there, like I confessed or this happened, perhaps. Another question, I don't think it's right here, but the one thing that a lot of people have asked is, can she make money off of the crimes? In Idaho, there's a slayer law. You cannot make money off of your crimes. So if she made any money from a book or a documentary or anything like that, she wouldn't. There's also a thing that we get a lot, is that we pay people for interviews. East Idaho News does not pay for interviews. Reputable news companies do not pay for interviews. We've never paid for an interview in our existence. Documentaries, most don't pay for interviews. If it's a news documentary, you're not going to make it. Now, are there ways to get around it and get money if you're a high-profile interview? For the big companies, yes, I'm sure they can figure out ways. But for a news company, you generally don't pay. So I didn't pay Lori at all. Some of you have written and said, how much did you pay her? Not a penny. I brought the M&Ms. I set the M&Ms right there where she could see them. She didn't get to take them with her. I was going to have some M&Ms here tonight and eat them while we talked. I'm sorry, I forgot. The interesting thing is that she won't make money. She won't make money from the book if she releases a book. Now if she was out of prison and out of jail, she could. Like O.J. Simpson wrote that book called like If I Did It, I believe, or if I did it, here's how I would have done it. Anyway, it got canceled. I don't even think it was released. Nate, please look at the pain in Colby's face when watching the interview you did with his mother. It's in poor taste that you're concerned more with your notoriety than with the victim of this monster, that you form a friendship and flirt together on a public forum. Please ask yourself why you're giving her a platform. You are doing no good but to get famous. Please consider the victims here. That's from Carrie. Carrie, thank you. I did speak with Colby yesterday and over the weekend. He was fine with the interview. In fact, I'm going on his program here tonight. So I understand, though, if some of the victims are pained by it. I get it. And, I didn't do it to get famous or for notoriety. I just did it to do my job. And that does come with it. I talked about fame with Erica a minute ago. It's a weird thing. Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was a first new reporter, it was so cool when I would walk into the store and people would recognize me. I loved it, and it was great. People were watching. They knew you, and I still really appreciate it when people come up and say hello when I'm out in public, and that's it. But that kind of stuff goes away, I guess you could say. Nate, this is from Diana. I have very mixed feelings with Nate's interview. I'm happy for you nailing it, but to give her a platform to spew her nonsense, you can't get any answer out of her that makes any sense, let alone a question without her going off on some religious narrative that is outrageous. She will never feel any remorse or admit any guilt in these murders. I don't feel she even misses her children. It's exhausting, sad, and frightening to listen to her. I believe she would kill again if she were free. Thank God she will never see a day outside the prison walls in her lifetime. Diane, thanks for sharing that. I don't know if she misses her children. She says that her children visit her every day. That's how she gets around that question. I haven't seen any remorse or any guilt. The judge brought that up, Judge Boyce, when she was sentenced in Idaho. Like, you have shown no remorse. There are hundreds of families in this community that would have taken your children. Had Kay taken JJ, we might not have ever known about this. They may have gotten away with all of this. Had Kay taken JJ, Tylee would have disappeared. But you could report her as a runaway. I mean, she was an adult. And then Tammy was dead and buried. And then the Charles thing in Arizona, that could have been linked just back to Alex if they decided to charge anything. And then if Alex died, could have closed the case. I'm just saying that, it could have been crazy if Kay had not worked to find answers in this. Annette, Nate, I realize you have a job to do. I get it. The interview was what I expected. She continues blaming everyone else, including her daughter and the judicial system. My question is, did you expect her to answer any of your questions truthfully, knowing how delusional she is? I hoped, and I thought she might. I thought I started with about Chad, because many of you are interested in her relationship with Chad. Can they communicate? What's that like? Does she still love him? I figured she would be honest with that. I think if she no longer loved him, she probably would have said it. Like, Chad, my time with Chad is done. It's time to move on. The Lord told me, whatever. But yeah, it can be hard when you're talking with someone that doesn't tell the truth about knowing what to believe and what not to believe. Could you believe that some people can see Lori as a person who has spiritual answers and cares about them? Luis. Could they see her like they would see a minister? It seemed that she thought you would feel that way about her, or that someday you would come around to that realization. I think she was trying to be like a minister to me. Well, you saw it. She said, "Get on the boat." Oh, darn it! A viewer earlier today Kirsten brought us a boat, a pirate ship, and cookies, Chips Ahoy, and milk for our team. And I was going to show the boat. She said, "Nate, don't get on the boat." You know what? I have a picture. Here. I'll show you. There it is. There she is with the picture. Yeah, I'll show you the picture. I wish I had the boat here in the studio, but she brought us this. So kind, and she's like, "Nate, stay off the boat. Don't get on the boat." So anyway, that's interesting. Do you think Lori's paralegal, investigator, and legal team actually believe her? I don't know if they have to believe her. They just have to give a defense. And some defense attorneys I know never ask their client, "Did you do it?" It's, okay, what is the defense here? So I don't know if they believe her or not. When y'all got to the jail, were you and the equipment searched as if you were coming in for a regular visit? Oh yeah. We went through the metal detectors, our bags are with all the equipment, went through the scanner belt. Yeah, we were searched to make sure we didn't have any weapons or anything like that. Nate, why didn't you ask Lori why she's not wearing her wedding ring / hair tie band? Good question. I didn't think about it, but she was not wearing it. She's worn it before in other court hearings and whatnot, but that's what it is. Nate, I've heard you say that you started East Idaho News 10 years ago. Congratulations. How did it come to be? Oh, thank you very much. Yes, we're 10 today. We turned 10. It's our 10th anniversary. We're putting up fun memories on our website and Facebook page and whatnot. We've been around for 10 years. There's a staff of 15 of us here, and it is, not just me. There's a whole team of people behind the scenes that are from different walks of life and different experiences that do great work here. And so I'm thankful for them and thankful for Peggy, who's moderating all the comments and everything you all say, and then she helps put this together. I think we'll stop there. One quick one. Nate, never interview her again. I commended you for standing up to that disgusting human. It's clear she's getting attention by lying, cheating, and she's a disgraceful sinner. It's clear she wants to control you. Don't let her control you ever again. Well, thank you. That's a good point. I think you have a point there. I appreciate that. Final, did the LDS church excommunicate her? She's slaughtering the LDS. Lori told me that she had not been excommunicated. I was told today that she was not honest with me on what she'd said about her church membership. And that's all I know with that. So I wish I could tell you more. Here's where you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube right there, East Idaho News, and then we have a family channel, Meetin' the Eatons. I do want to let you know that tomorrow, Brian Koberger is the plea agreement hearing is being held at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. We will be streaming that on eastidahonews.com. The courtroom opens at 8. It is first come, first serve for seating. I will not be there. I will be here, and I will be on here starting around 10:30, 10:45 to kind of fill you up to speed. And then once that hearing starts, we will immediately cut over to it. So join me tomorrow morning, 10:30-ish, for a little bit of recap on the case as we await the plea agreement in Brian Koberger. And then tomorrow night, we will break it all down on Courtroom Insider, same time, 7 o'clock Mountain Time. And then on Thursday, we're going to have Rachel Smith here. She is the special prosecutor from the Daybell case, from Lori's first case. If you have any questions you want to ask her, shoot them in, send them over. She's an expert on the death penalty. She's an expert on homicide prosecutions. So would love to hear what you have to say, and we can do a Q&A with her as we head off into the 4th of July weekend. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. I'm Nate Eaton. Have a good night.